Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 3 of Handheld Rewind, a weekly handheld gaming podcast. You can find us here every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. You can also find us on YouTube Music app at the very same time. If you would like and prefer to listen to us on your podcast of choice, you can actually do that on the following Monday. It'll be available on like Apple Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, stuff like that. If you would like to get an early version of the show here on YouTube, you can become a member to the channel and you'll get the show basically as soon as the edit is done and the upload is done and processed, and you'll get it basically as soon as it's available. So if you'd like to do that, that would be absolutely amazing. It's a great way to support the show if you like the content that we're making here. But if not, hey, that subscribe button, that works super great. We're really trying to get to that 1,000 mark. We're getting so close. So I really appreciate all of you guys that have done that. Everybody who is, watching the videos, liking, commenting, all that kind of stuff. If you want to be part of the show, you can absolutely do that. So you can obviously leave a comment on this video if you're watching on YouTube, and it might be selected to be read on next week's show. You can write into Blame.Games.HR at gmail.com, and you'll probably definitely get read on the show that way. So if you'd like to be part of the show, you can certainly do that as well. And, if this is your first time on the show, we basically have 3 core tenets of the show. Number 1, we do the gaming news, the handheld gaming news for the week. And the second thing we do is kind of talk about the games that I'm playing, how I'm playing them, like what kind of handhelds I'm using, the kind of experience that I'm having. And then also the final segment of the show is all about you and the listener inquiries. So I would definitely love to see a lot more of those. So please, by all means, write into the show, and you may be on next week's episode. So with all of that housekeeping stuff out of the way, you might notice I'm wearing my Broncos gear this week. So I'm a huge Broncos fan ever since I was a little kid. Growing up in Oklahoma, there's not a whole lot of pro teams around here. There is now. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder. What's up, world champions? But, growing up, I kind of latched onto the Broncos because I was a huge John Elway fan. And it's been about a decade since we hosted a playoff game, so we're super excited to be back. And we're going to be playing the Bills, who kind of knocked us out of the playoffs last year. So really big game this weekend. I'm super stoked for it. Go Broncos. And with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get into our first news story of the day. Number 1. This comes to us from Jeremy Laird over at PC Gamer, who writes, Intel's new handheld gaming chip, rumored to be called Core G3 Extreme, and rocks a full-spec Xe3 iGPU with 12 graphic cores. Core G3 will get the same 12 Xe3 spec graphic cores as the top spec Panther Lake chips for laptops. However, the leak claims that some concessions have been made to squeeze Panther Lake into a handheld form factor. On the iGPU side, it is said to clock speeds that have been reduced from 2.5 GHz from the laptop chips, like the Core Ultra X9 388H, to 2.3 GHz. No doubt the idea is to reduce power consumption without noticeably impacting frames. So first thing I want to do is just say I'm going to take the L on this one. You guys called me out on last week's video because this was one of the biggest announcements at CES, and I didn't cover it at all at the show. So why didn't I cover it last week? Well, basically, this was a presentation all about their new chips and performance specs and stuff like that, but there was no new announcements for any handheld, so nothing directly on the horizon. But I do agree with you. I at least should have covered it to just kind of update you guys on what's coming. So I've got some slides that they showed in last week's show. Will be kind of flashing up on a screen here for you, so you can kind of take a look at those. But the Panther Lake chips are pretty exciting, as we've got a couple of news stories involving these. So I'm not going to get too crazy here in the first part because we're going to hit a couple more here as we go. But it would be a lot more exciting if we had a handheld, PC announcement to go along with that, or maybe we had some gameplay of these chips running on devices, or specifically the handheld version running on devices. would have been super cool. So I'll take the L. You guys called me out, and that's why I appreciate you guys letting me know. And hey, just like if we miss anything from this past week on this show here today, definitely drop me a comment down below. Or, of course, you could write into the show either way that you would prefer to do that. And we will kind of, cover that next week. So the Panther Lake chips, super exciting here. And the leak code name, the Core G3 Extreme. What do you guys think about that? I mean, obviously we've got the Z1 Extreme, Z2 Extreme. So I guess, it's kind of like, it's kind of like what a lot of these like Chinese phone makers do. It's like, okay, the Apple's the top of the heap. We're going to just like copy everything that they do down from naming to design, all that kind of stuff. So, as we'll see in a moment, Intel's getting a little bit chippy, but they sure couldn't come up with their own naming convention here. They just chose to jump on that extreme bandwagon, or at least that's what the rumors say. What do you guys think about the name? I don't really think it matters. I'm all about show me, don't tell me. Let's see how this chip performs before we get crazy excited. But the specs do look promising, and Panther Lake sure looks like it's going to be a step in the right direction. So let's go ahead and move on to story number 2. This comes to us from Jack Goodall over at PCGuide.com. Senior Director of Product Management for Client at Intel, Nish, and that last name starts with an N, I'm going to leave it at that, slammed AMD's current gen hardware, saying they're selling ancient silicon, while we're selling up-to-date processors specifically designed for this market. He added, "We think that the low-power E-cores are perfectly appropriate for gaming." So what do you guys think about this? Intel is very confident in their chips, and they just like fired a shot across the bow of AMD. So we'll see how AMD eventually responds to that. But let's maybe deliver a handheld that's using this chip and see what it can do before we get this chippy Intel. So far, you've got one handheld on the market that is performing adequately against the competition. That is the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, which, hey, when you launched it, it really wasn't doing that great, but you guys have done a good job with the driver updates and stuff like that. So it is performing quite well. People who have the Claw 8 AI Plus seem to really like it. So it would be nice to, if we're going to talk smack, maybe just deliver it to us first before we start jumping into all the smack talk. So let's go ahead and jump into story number 3 for the week. And this one comes to us from Hassan over at WCCF Tech, who we cited last week as well. And Hassan says this: Intel Panther Lake 30-watt handhelds to be similar in performance to Sony's PS6 Canis handheld at 15 watts. According to Kepler L2 on Twitter, the Intel Panther Lake handhelds will be able to complete or offer similar performance against the PS6 handheld. But here's the catch. Kepler states that the Intel Panther Lake handhelds will require 30 watts to match the 15-watt PS6 handheld. That's half the TDP, and once again, most of this comes from the fact that Sony is running its own proprietary OS, and the chip is purely optimized for running games from its first-party developers. This is another leak, but it kind of gives us an indication of what we're going to be looking at with these Panther Lake chips, and that is really impressive. So obviously we haven't seen the PS6 handheld yet, Canis, but we have some rumored specs, thanks to Moore's Law is Dead, who leaked this late last year. But this is pretty impressive from AMD, but they're running it at twice the wattage. I mean, look, you can get the equal performance at higher watts, really easy with an underpowered chip. So this is not like the most impressive thing in the world. Really, it's more impressive for me thinking about the PS6 handheld being able to kind of have this kind of performance at 15 watts, which means it's going to get like some really great battery life. So I'm pretty stoked actually for kind of both of these, Panther Lake and the PS6 Canis handheld console. It's really going to be exciting once we get that announcement from PlayStation. The rumors are pointing to maybe next year sometime. So we'll have to see if all of these, RAM and storage, pricing explosions are affecting expecting Sony for their next generation. A lot of rumors are sort of pointing to maybe those are going to get pushed off till 2030. But that's, who knows what they're going to do. They could, it doesn't even mean that they have to call this handheld the PS6 handheld. Maybe it's going to be called something different. So maybe they're going to push the PS6 out a couple of years. Maybe they want to go ahead and launch the PS6 handheld maybe next year or late this year or something like that. I don't expect it late this year. I would say probably more, next year. But so it'll be interesting if it kind of comes out before the PlayStation 6, what they call it. Definitely not going to be PS Vita 2, I'll tell you that much. But I'm super excited for really the PlayStation 6 handheld and really the potential of these Panther Lake chips, if all the rumors are to be believed. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about the rumored PlayStation handheld? What do you think about the Panther Lake chips, running at, kind of equivalent performance at 30 watts? I think 30 watts is totally fine. I run my PC handhelds up in that, range a lot of the times, just depending on the game that I'm playing. If I'm playing on one of the older handhelds like the Legion Go 1, I do usually kind of crank that bad boy up to kind of get some better performance out of it at the expense of the already most atrocious battery life of any PC handheld. But so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more from both PlayStation and these Panther Lake chips. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to story number 4 for the week. This comes to us from Bryant Francis over at GameDeveloper.com. And he says, according to Valve designer Lawrence Yang, developers hoping for a Steam Machine Verified badge can expect fewer constraints than Steamdeck verification. One easy rule of thumb is that if your title is verified on the Steam Deck, it'll be verified on the Steam machine, Yang continued. VR developers seeking Steam frame verification may expect a different process, though Yang said Valve will be going through the same rounds of testing and providing developer feedback as it does for the other verification systems. So I don't know if you guys are following me on Twitter. If you're not, hey, go ahead and drop me a follow at Blame It On Ryan, and that's Ryan with an E over on Twitter. This kind of news came out, and the quote was something basically that was going around was like, if you're verified on Steam Deck, you'll be verified on Steam Machine. Like that was like the most concise points that they kind of plucked out of the interview and kind of spread around as news. And I kind of made fun of that, being like, why is that news? Of course, if it's on Steam Deck, if it's verified on Steam Deck, it'll run on Steam Machine. Of course, duh. But I think when you take the context of the interview a little bit more completely, I think what he's kind of trying to say is that, if you have optimized for the Steam Deck, you're automatically going to get verified, and it's probably going to, take those same settings and run them, at the higher resolution. So basically, you really don't have to kind of tweak anything. It's going to take those same settings, but crank the resolution up, and it's going to run just fine. It's kind of what I took away with it. But, hey, maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But, obviously, if it's verified on Steam Deck, it should be verified on Steam Machine. It shouldn't be a problem. It's 6 times the power. What's the big deal there? So that, I think if you guys are watching my video, you might be familiar with Jimmy Champagne. Love his content. Really great guy. He's the guy that runs Deck Ready. And I kind of, it was actually in his reply chain that I mentioned it. I think he might have took it a little bit personal, but didn't mean anything bad about you, Jimmy, covering it. Obviously, you're running Deck Ready. You've got to cover it as news. And here I am covering it as news too. So pot calling the kettle black. And but I just kind of wanted to, not just mention it, but kind of like the context of it. So there you have it. The Steam Deck. If you're Steam Deck verified, you're Steam Machine verified. If you want to get Steam Frame verified, that's going to be a totally different process. And obviously that should be the case. It's like a totally different platform. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to story number 5 for the week. This comes to us from Noah Kupetsky over at Steamdeck HQ. And he has kind of combed through the new Steam Deck verified and playable games out there and come up with a list of 10 games that are now verified on the Steam Deck and playable on the Steam Deck that you guys might want to check out. And just like with all of the other stories in the show, I'm going to put a link to their direct article as well. So if you want to show those guys some love, go ahead and click on any of the direct links in the show notes and help them out with viewing their content directly and getting some ad revenue, because it takes time to go through and kind of come through all the different games and as things get verified and stuff like that, and putting these articles out there. So go show Noah some love. And the games that he was able to locate that have gotten a Steamdeck verification this week are Satisfactory, Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, Quake, Verho, Curse of Faces, Rising Front, Little Witch in the Woods, Radio Light, and games that are marked now as playable, Out of Time, Night Swarm, and Magic Inn. Now, that's a list of games that I have never played any one of them, so I can't tell you if they are good games or not, but hey, these are all now playable on deck, so if you're interested in any of those, it should be good for you to go ahead and purchase if you haven't already, or if they're in your library, go ahead and down those bad boys to your deck and get playing. And of course, if you have like a Legion Go S SteamOS model, something like that, you're going to be able to play these games no problem, because obviously Steam Deck is kind of the lowest power of the SteamOS devices out there. So if you're running the Legion Go SteamOS, the Z2 Go 16 gig or the Z1 Extreme 32 gig, these games are going to run great for you guys as well. So let's go ahead and jump into number 6. Okay, number 6 comes to us from Artura Dawn over at GameGrin.com. And Artura writes, Steam breaks all-time concurrent user record. Steam managed to hit a new all-time high concurrent players across the entire platform, making a new record for Valve to start off the year. A really good start for the year. The new record of concurrent players for Steam set in January is 41,816,052, which is a whopping 200,000 more than the previous record. Now, this is a big number. So think about 42 million players. That's 42 concurrent million players. That means 42 million players all on a game of some sort on Steam at one time. That is absolutely nuts. Of course, if you're a traditional console gamer like a lot of you guys are, like I have been, we're pretty familiar with, like PlayStation 5 right now is in the mid 80s, probably closing in on the 90 million unit mark. So think about that, like everybody who owns a PlayStation 5, half of them all on the platform at the same time. That's kind of crazy. And, people kind of downplay how big PC gaming is. 41.8 million on Steam all at once. That's absolutely wild. It kind of makes me wonder, like, what is their what is their highest monthly active users, or what is their, rolling average of monthly active users? It has got to be high. So it's no wonder Gaben's out there running on that new $500 million super yacht that he was, I guess, I don't know if it was a rumor or true or whatever, but you just see people, making fun of that. But holy moly, man, I really didn't have any idea that Steam was that big. That's absolutely insane. Hey, so congrats, Gaben and team, and the 300 or so people who work at Valve. Good God, these guys, they all must be like absolutely super. Hopefully Gaben is taking care of everybody quite well. And hey, I think you could probably afford to give us Steam machines at a reasonable price. 42 million concurrents that are, just bringing in the revenue for you. Come on, let's give us a Steam machine at a reasonable price. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next news story. This is number 7 for the week. Okay, and this one is the AYN Thor getting a price increase. This one comes to us by Habib. I think we quoted him on the show last week as well. And he says the second batch of pre-orders is scheduled to begin on January the 15th, and yours truly is included in that. So I'm hoping to get mine here pretty soon. The third batch of pre-orders for the AYN Thor will begin on January the 20th. And unfortunately, AYN has stated that buyers in the round number 3 will have to pay a little bit more due to the memory price surge plaguing the tech industry right now. The price increase affects 3 variants of the handheld, and at the time of the recording of this video, you were still able to pre-order at the old prices. So, hey, if you can maybe jump in there real quick if you're looking to get one before those prices go up, because I think they go up next week. So if you're listening to this on Monday, maybe it might be too late, but if you're listening to it the day it goes live on YouTube, you might still have some time. But the base model is going to see an increase up $10 from $299 to $309, and the Pro and Max are both going up $20 each to $369 and $450. And hey, look, all things considered, I think a $10 and a $20 price increase, with what's going on out there, those are, I think reasonable enough that if you were interested in them, I don't think it's going to put you off from these. They do also have a brand new light model, which is at $249. It's got a little bit of a lower spec chip. So depending on what you're trying to run on this, you should be able to do maybe the cheaper model if you would like to, just depends. So price increases on the AYN handhelds, $10 and $20. What do you guys think about that? Were you looking at purchasing one? Do you think that's going to inhibit you from maybe getting one if maybe you're trying to save up for one and get one a little bit down the road? Again, I think $20 is more than reasonable. I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal for you. Also, the second half of the story is that the AYN Thor is getting a software update, and that's going to address quite a few user complaints that got the round one shipments. So let's go over the software updates you can expect if you guys already have one, or if you're going to be getting one here soon. So let's jump into those right now. The software update includes adding a feature that let users customize the fan speed curve in Smart Fan mode. Fixed an issue where the maximum custom fan speed was limited to 70% in both the Thor Control Center and Game Assistant. Made the Smart Fan speed a little bit more aggressive to address overheating issues in high performance mode. Updated Wi-Fi firmware to resolve issues where certain Wi-Fi networks couldn't be connected to or connection would lead to a system freeze or reboot. Added an OLED screen protection feature, including dynamic anti-image retention and anti-burn-in protection, and added support for the 80% charge limit, 5-volt 2A charge limit, and 9-volt 2A charge limit when the battery state of health is less than 80. So I think these are really great updates, and thank you guys for all of the round one owners for providing that feedback to AYN so they could get this update out. So that way when I get mine, I already have some of those issues solved. So I'm really kind of looking forward to that. If you guys saw the Christmas video, recently got that Analog 3D, which is like the kind of an N64 where you can play the old cartridges and stuff live on it. And so I really had a lot of fun kind of playing that. And I really saw this and I was like, man, I had the original DS, I had the 3DS, I had the 3DS XL. I don't even know how many of those I've had. And it just seemed like every time I had one, I would play like a game or two, and then I would just be like, kind of go back to my console. And so I think there's a lot of games on, DS and 3DS and 3DS XL and new 3DS and all of those different variants that I would really like to play on an actual, two-screen device. So I'm super looking forward to that. And then I think I might even play some other older games on it as well. If you guys have one, hey, let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. And I'm super interested to get mine soon. And so you guys will be seeing that on the channel coming up very soon as well. Hopefully soon. We'll see how long it takes to get here. So let's go ahead and jump into our number 8 story for the day. Okay, this one comes to us from Andrew Myrick over at Android Central. And Andrew writes, Ionia pauses Pocket Play Kickstarter indefinitely. Ionio is in a bit of hot water for a multitude of reasons, and it's reached a boiling point. After continuously being called out by the community, the company announced its 2026 Service Improvement Plan, which starts with Ionio Pocket Play Kickstarter campaign being temporarily paused. So this is probably a good step. Ionio has kind of been in hot water the past year with its consumers. They've really kind of come out with a lot of cool, desirable devices, but they've really had a hard time being able to ship and fulfill and kind of follow through on their promises. So they've come up with this 2026 improvement plan, which is kind of fun. It's like they got like a bad report card, and so they've got to have they got a bad scorecard at work, so they got to have a process improvement plan to get better. So that's kind of funny. But let's go ahead and take a look at the improvement plan that they've got lined out, and just go over that here real quickly for you. Okay, so as you can see here on screen, there's kind of like a 5 pillars: customer service response, after the sales experience, shipping and crowdfunding, quality control process, and rebuilding communication. I'm not going to kind of go over every single piece of this. I'll just kind of read off the bullet points for those of you who are listening and not watching the show. So in the customer service response, what they're committing to is, let's see, all backlog emails are going to process those within 7 to 10 days. They have a dedicated channel for historical issues, and they are going, it says professional upgrade, implementing a tiered support system to escalate complex technical issues. In their after sales experience, they're promising a fast 7-day replacement, repair guarantee, overseas warehouse plan, and a transparent ticketing system. So I think some of those are good. And shipping and crowdfunding, it says future crowdfunding pre-sale optimization. And they're going to also have a transparent shipping order and a global launch. And then in quality control and process, they're going to source control and process closure are the 2 main bullet points there. And in the rebuilding communication, it says pause a new project as goodwill and executive direct engagement. So to be honest with you, the bullet points aren't helping you audio listeners to, you probably really need to take a look at the full text on there. There's probably too much to read on the show here. So again, all of the links to the stories are going to be in the show notes. So definitely feel free to click on those and go over to the Android Central article where you will be able to see that chart if you are so inclined to do so. So INEO, get better, do better, be better. Everybody likes your products, or at least what you're trying to make. Get the quality control, get the shipping done, stop getting ahead of yourselves, fix it, do better. That's what everybody wants. And with that, we will move on to number 9 for the week. Okay, this one comes to us from Andrew over at retrohandhelds.gg, who writes about the Anbernic RG406H. And he says it's real and coming soon. A day after the RG406H was shown off in a few leaked images, Anbernic has confirmed that this will be its next handheld. In true Anbernic fashion, we're in line for an information drip, starting off with a fun game / extended features demonstration video. RG406H will feature a 4.6-inch touchscreen display sporting a resolution of 960 by 720, unsurprisingly the same size and resolution as the screen found in the RG406V, matching up with what we expected Anbernic to do. Beside the screen, it also appears that Anbernic will be relying on the same joysticks from the RG406V, which should make more than a few people happy. However, it also borrows the round D-pad from the RG Cube and the RG Cube XX, which is something that I'm happy to see. So first thing I have to say about this is you guys really need some help with your marketing names. This is an absolutely terrible name. You guys need to really work on your branding. The second thing is I don't have any interest in this. A 4-point-whatever-inch display is just too small for me. And actually, you know what? I didn't even mention it, but you guys might notice I got these new glasses. And hey, PSA, if you have a perfect vision, if you're one of the younger members of the channel watching and you have perfect vision, something that nobody ever told me is, hey, when you hit your mid-40s, and this will happen to literally everybody, there are parts of your eye lens that start to harden, and no matter what, you will lose that close-up focusing ability. And so, you see all the old people, and this was definitely me, doing the stretch where, you got to try to look and see the text and read like that. Well, that's been me here for the last probably 6 months. I finally went to the eye doctor, got these bad boys, and now I can see. So it's actually been really awesome to kind of get that close-up focusing back. I when I looked at my iPhone 17 Pro Max for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I forgot how nice and sharp this display is. So that's been awesome. My regular sight has still been fine. when I'm playing games and stuff on a 4K 75-inch TV, it still looks super nice and sharp, none of that kind of stuff. So really just kind of, doing, the old age thing is happening to me. So wearing glasses for the first time. So yeah, 4-inch screen. Hey, I could probably play it now with these, but that's really kind of too small. But, hey, retro games, older games, whatever. And I know a lot of people are into these things. So, hey, if you're into this, if you're excited about this, or if, you have one of their products. I'm not super familiar with them, so definitely let me know about them. I'd love to hear your comments about them. Drop those in the comments on the YouTube video or right into the show, Blame.Games.HR at gmail.com, and maybe we will read that on next week's show. Okay, so we have come to our final number 10 news story for the day. And this isn't so much as news as just really, I thought this was like maybe a good deal that a lot of you guys might be interested in. This one comes to us from Hannah Houlihan over at IGN, and she writes, Humble Bundle Decked Out Collection features 7 great Steam Deck games for $12. The 7 games in this bundle have a total value of $129 at full price. But through the bundle, you can get them all for just $12. The games include Ultra Kill, Haste, Creatures of Ava, Death Bulge, Battle of the Bands, Backpack Hero, Vampire Survivors, and Nidhogg 2. Now, this seems like a great deal for $12. I mean, if nothing else, Vampire Survivors normally is $5. And if you haven't bought that yet, that game is freaking awesome. It's addictive as heck. And it's just like so much fun to play. It's just go check it out. If you haven't played it, it's easy. Anybody can play it. It's like, I mean, there's nothing really to it, but it is very addictive. And if you like those like dopamine hit type games, I mean, it's just like boom, 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 just blast you with dopamine hits. It's like over and over and over. Just an absolutely super fun game. I definitely highly recommend it. So if you're going to pay $5 for that, hey, basically you're getting $7 for all the rest of these games. Maybe there's a winner or two in there. Have you guys played any of those games? Let me know if I'm missing out on any of these particular games, or if I should go ahead and pick up this bundle and check some of these games out, because I'm not super familiar with most of these games. Nidhogg 2 is one I have heard of before, but still don't really know much about that. So yeah, definitely let me know, or write into the show and let me know about any of these games. Or if you're going to pick up the Humble Bundle for $12 and play these games in your Steam Deck, your Legion Go S, your Legion Go 2, your Legion Go 1, your Xbox Ally, your Ally X, your RG Ally. We got all these PC handhelds playing it on something. Okay. And that's it for the news, everybody. All right, it's time to get into what I'm playing. And if you guys watched the last 2 episodes, you know I am still kind of trudging through Cronos the New Dawn. I am at the very end of the game. Now, I've already kind of talked extensively about the gameplay, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'll just say that I'm at a point where I think I'm at the end boss, but I did look up a collectible guide, and there's still some stuff after this. So I think this is like, maybe not the end boss, but it's like the end boss, and then the game goes on just a little bit more after that. So I'm right at that point, and it's kind of taking me a long time. Like you guys know, I'm a survival horror games. I'm like a little bit of a scaredy cat, so I tend to play these games in like small chunks, like an hour at a time. It's like, and then I just need a break, play something else, something like that. So if you've been watching the videos on the channel, number one, thank you. You would already know that I've been playing Echoes of the End, and I've been playing that on my PlayStation Portal via remote play from my PS5 Pro. And I've also been playing that a bit on my Legion Go 2 via remote play from PX Play on the Legion Go 2, so that way I can still get the HDR, the 1080p, and just crank the bit rate up so it looks just super crisp and clean. And I've actually had a lot of fun with that game. So if you're not familiar, and you probably aren't, this game came out like late last summer. I want to say it came out in like August, and it was a really crowded, busy time. And I think it was one of these more budget-friendly titles. I want to say it was $40 or $50 when it launched. And because I kind of just go through the store and just like look for new stuff that's coming out, and it kind of caught my eye, and I was like, okay, this looks kind of cool. And I kind of forgot about it. I added it to my wish list and just kind of forgot about it. Well, I got pinged by the PlayStation app that it went on sale. And so I was able to get the enhanced edition. I don't know what's extra in it, whatever, for $19.99. And so I picked that up, and I actually did start playing it here. And I wasn't sure if it was like an RPG or if it was an action adventure game. I really couldn't remember. I just remembered like it looked kind of cool, and I liked combat in it. And so yeah, it is actually a third-person linear style action adventure game. So it is kind of just like, I called it on Twitter, I called it a Ryan-ass game. Like, I absolutely love these kind of games. Kind of think like your Uncharted, style. Don't think Uncharted, but think the Uncharted like kind of formula, where it's like, kind of linear levels where you're doing, some environmental puzzles, and you're having like just various points of combat here and there, and you're as you're walking, you have a kind of a companion with you, and you're kind of getting some story as you kind of walk through the environments. That type of a game. And the combat is super fun. I really like it. I like the upgrades and stuff that you can get. So like some cool things about the combat is one of the upgrade things that you can get is like you can like steal life from the enemies, which is super awesome. So I kind of like that. That way I don't have to worry like too much about having perfect parries or perfect dodges, things like that. And the game does have a parry, and it's pretty, I would say, a pretty generous parry window. And it has a dodge as well, so you can use a dodge if you want to. But you got all kinds of different abilities. You can there's different like rocks and stuff in the environment that you can kind of magically like pull and fling at enemies. You can even like fling the enemies like at each other. You can pull, like if one's behind another, you can pull that other enemy into the other enemy and kind of like knock them over. So you can do all kinds of cool stuff with the combat. And, if you are getting a little careless and, you kind of knock your health down, well, you can just steal health right back from another enemy. And it's also draining their health too, which is also helping you kill them. So it's a lot of fun. I really like the combat so far. I'm only like 3 chapters into the game. I think it's like a 12-hour game. So like this is 100% up my alley. Perfect kind of length. I like the linear format, the chapter format. Super fun. If you didn't check out Wednesday's PlayStation Portal Pro video, I featured this game in that video as I kind of talked over the footage of the game running on the Portal and the Legion Go 2. So if you wanted to just see it running a little bit more, I'll have some clips interspersed into this video as well. So if you guys are listening to the audio, come check out the channel, check out the Portal Pro video, and you can kind of see some more footage from there. But super cool game so far. I'm only 3 chapters in. So far, the only thing negative I'd have to say about it is the very first chapter, the kind of companion that was included in that chapter, the voice acting and the kind of dialogue banter between the two was not very good. But I'm happy to say in chapter 2, you get a different companion, and the dialogue between the two seems to get quite a bit better, and the voice acting from the new companion gets a lot better than the first one. So that's definitely a good thing. But if you start playing this game and you kind of hear some of that dialogue in that first chapter, just give it a little bit, get through that first chapter, get to the next chapter, and see if you like the next companion a little bit better, because I certainly did. It's definitely like a lower budget type game, but I think it looks really great. Obviously, I'm playing on PS5 Pro, but via remote play, it's running super good. I like the environmental puzzles that it has. So like, she has this ability, like a couple of different abilities, but like one is she can kind of stand on this like pedestal type thing, and she can kind of like move things back and forward in time. So like you might have like a staircase that is collapsed, but like you kind of turn this stick a certain way, and that staircase will come back. And then maybe you've got to go up that staircase, and then you've got to grab some like an orb thing that you can use in this another pedestal to do something else. And then you've got to go back to the other thing and kind of, shift time from, let that staircase drop, and then, maybe raise up this board over here or something like that. So it's this kind of environmental puzzle stuff interdispersed through the, kind of walk and talk dialogue areas and the combat. Lots of like platforming, traversal stuff. And so, I really like it so far. Definitely, if you like those kind of games, it's not going to blow your hair back. It's not going to be like a 10 out of 10 Naughty Dog, Uncharted experience, but it's going to be like, this is 7 out of 10 type, fun experience. I think well worth the $20 that I picked it up for. So that's what I'm playing right now. And, I definitely do recommend it. Cronos if you're into survival horror, just whatever, just drop everything and go play it. It is awesome. I think it is one of the better survival horror games that I've played, and I've played not all of them, but I have played quite a bit. You know, Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil remake, Resident Evil, way back 20 years ago, I played Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, played Resident Evil 3 remake. I never played Resident Evil 4 or 4 remake, although I did buy it. I played a little bit of 4 remake, and I didn't like that it was more action oriented. I do need to get back to that though and finish that. Some of my other favorite survival horror games, love Alan Wake 2, super good. Obviously Resident Evil Make 2, Resident Evil Make 3. I've got Dead Space purchased. I need to play that as well. I haven't played that yet, but so definitely, yeah, if you're into survival horror, I definitely recommend it. You definitely go ahead and check that out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into the final segment of the show, and that is our listener inquiry section. So I picked a couple of the comments out of last week's video, and we are going to go over those right now. Okay, so our first inquiry comes to us from @JoeisTech, who said, no mention of the 1X player Apex? It's the handheld showcased in CES along with the GDP Win 5. And so fair enough. It was at CES, and you know, if you watched last week's show or listened to last week's show, the thumbnail was no new handhelds. And in my defense, this is not a new handheld. This might be the first time that they, you know, maybe gave hands-on to some different people, but they announced this late last year. I think it was like October, November that this was announced. And this is that kind of I think this is like the water-cooled one that's like $1,700 on up. So this is like a crazy enthusiast one. And the reason I didn't cover it is because it's not new. It was already previously announced a couple of months ago. And, you know, the show that we're trying to do here is like, hey, what's the news that happened in the last week? So like what was newsworthy from CES? And I just didn't feel like a product that we already knew about was newsworthy. But hey, if you're excited about this device, look, this thing is crazy expensive. I'm not interested in it. I'm not going to get it. I think it looks super cool, obviously. And if you're an enthusiast that is like way into it and definitely going to pick it up, you know, I understand. I get it. I mean, I think it looks sick as well. But, you know, there's at some point that we got to start drawing the line. And for me, like the Legion Go 2 was like, I was like, all right, enough. Like that's enough. And, you know, I'm not going to go, you know, the $1,500, the $2,000, the $3,000 PC handheld route. So that's why I didn't cover it, but fair enough. If you guys are interested, the 1X player Apex, I think you can still get the early bird price. So if you're interested, go check that out. Thank you, JoeisTech, for writing in. Super appreciate your inquiry. @Divertiti writes, this was a huge handheld announcement. It's Intel's Panther Lake performance. Yeah, fair enough. You called me out, and I mentioned earlier in the show that you called me out about the Panther Lake announcement, and I will take the L on that one. I should have covered it last week for sure. You guys saw it get sort of plenty of coverage in the front half of the video. And yeah, it is something to be excited about, but my expectations are certainly tempered because we have not seen it in a device running. We have not seen it announced for any devices. So I don't know if we're even going to see it this year. It would be cool if we do, but you know, for now, I'm just kind of, my expectations are tempered. I don't know if we're going to see it. What do you guys think? Are we going to see a Panther Lake chip in a handheld PC this year? If so, who do you think is going to be the first to do it? Is it going to be MSI? They've obviously got the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. You know, I don't know. Maybe, you know, is Lenovo going to dip their toe into the Intel side? It'll be interesting to kind of see where some of these companies lie. I mean, obviously MSI's got both. They've got a Z1 Extreme handheld and they've got the Intel handheld. I don't really see any reason why we can't get like a Legion Go S that's running the Intel chip. Why not? You know, these deals are complicated. A lot of times, you know, maybe a company can get a cheaper price on the chips if they are willing to basically have an exclusivity agreement with the chip maker. And a lot of times those are not publicly disclosed. So it's totally possible that, like say, I'm not saying Lenovo does, so don't take that. Don't say that I'm saying that. I'm not saying that, but it's totally possible that Lenovo might have an exclusivity agreement with, you know, the Z1 or the Z Extreme, the Z series of chips that says, hey, we'll give you this X price point if you agree to also not release a AMD variant of that. So who knows what's going on there, but yeah, so let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, or you can always write into the show, blame.games.hr@gmail.com. Okay, and we're going to get into our final inquiry, and this one comes to us from @RealNameASecret, who writes, what are your go-to games right now on handheld? Steam Winter Sale just ended a few days ago. Did anyone pick up anything good? And yeah, so I definitely did pick up a few things, not just in the Steam Winter Sale. I also picked up some PlayStation games as well. So on the PlayStation side, I'll start there, and then I'll tell you some of the Steam games that I picked up. So on the PlayStation side, obviously we've got our PlayStation Plus games. So I grabbed all of those. That's like your Epic Mickey, your Need for Speed, Unbound, Core Keeper. But then on the Winter Sale, I picked up the Tomb Raider 1 through 6 remastered collection, which was on sale for $21.99. I picked up the PS5 version of the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition for $10. And I'm kind of contemplating jumping into that, but man, I'm just like, when I look at these like super long games, it's just, sometimes they're a little bit daunting. I picked up Arc Raiders on sale for $32, and then they got me with the tokens because I wanted to get one of those outfits like an absolute idiot. That's why I don't play these kind of games, because I'm just a sucker. Then I also picked up, of course, Echoes of the End Enhanced Edition, which we talked about, for $19.99. And another one I got in the Winter Sale, After Us, $5.99. Stalker 2, picked that one up for $47.99, and I'm probably going to be playing that one sometime this year. Of course, Cronos the New Dawn I picked up at $44.99. And I think that was it, aside from, these are PlayStation Plus games from last month. So that's pretty well it. You could see a couple more games I bought toward the end of December. So I think this was in their Winter Sale too. I got Assassin's Creed Unity, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, Gotham Knights Visionary Pack, Gotham Knights, Terminator, Resistance Enhanced, all those for like $30. So I got quite a few PlayStation games, and so let's check out and see what I got on the Steam sale. On the Steam sale, let's see here. I picked up, looks like the Lilimo collection over on Steam. So I got Super Perils of Baking, Habroxia 1, Habroxia 2, Twin Breaker, and Tri-Breaker for $5.80. Like, that's a steal. Those games are great. If you've not played Habroxia 1 and 2, those are freaking awesome. I love those games so much. Picked up Half-Life Alyx. I don't even have anything to play it on currently, but just anticipating at some point being able to play that. Got that for $17.99. Orange Box, I just picked up all the Half-Life games for like $12. Picked up the Steam version of Expedition 33. You can see there, $39.99. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. So you saw all the videos on the channel for that. Picked that up for $27. Went ahead and bought the Cyberpunk for Steam. I mean, at some point, I'm sure somebody's going to be clamoring to see a Cyberpunk video, even though I really don't want to do one. $21. Mass Effect Legendary Collection. I mean, give me a break, guys. $6. You should buy that game. 3 games, just $2 a game. Give me a break for some of the greatest games ever. $6. Picked up a game called Everreach for $2.49. It's a game I thought looked cool, but I started playing it and I was like, this is kind of janky. Got all the Arkham Collection games and Space Marine 2. And a couple more, Rise, Son of Rome, and Dying Light for like $8. So yeah, I bought quite a few things on the Steam sale for not a whole lot of money. So yeah, a Steam sale, Winter Sale is always good to us. PlayStation, honestly, they pretty much, it's almost like year round that they're running sales now. And so you can pretty much, like, when one ends, here comes another one. So I pretty much like regularly go into the PlayStation store, regularly go into the Steam store, just kind of see what sales are going on. PlayStation's been really good with that here the last, I would say, really this generation on the different sales. So whether you're playing on PlayStation or Steam or in the Xbox store, definitely check your stores regularly. They change these sales like every couple of weeks typically, and most of the time they'll run, one promotion ends, they'll start something else, and there'll be a different group of games, different prices, stuff like that. Obviously, if you're interested in specific games, use your wish list feature, and those storefronts will notify you when those games go on sale. So I think that's going to wrap it up for the episode number 3 of Handheld Rewind. I'm really interested in what you guys think of the show. It is an absolute ton of work, I gotta tell you, and so I would super appreciate you guys if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment. If you have an extra $5 to throw for the membership, that would be unbelievably appreciated. This is a ton of work that goes into this show. Lots of research and recording and editing, and it's a ton. It's kind of more than I expected it to be. It's really not. It is, but it isn't. And still trying to maintain the 2 other videos a week. So if you guys would let me know what you guys think of the show so far, and drop a comment or email me at the Blame.Games.HR at gmail.com. I would super appreciate your feedback. If you want to see changes to the show, what would you want to see? I'm definitely interested in hearing that. With all of that kind of stuff said, I just want to say, if you're still watching this video, thank you so much, man. I super appreciate you. I know that this is, especially if you're watching the video version on YouTube, this is a long video. In the podcast world, this is probably a pretty short podcast, which, solo podcast. I can only ramble for so long, guys. If we had a co-host or something like that, this would probably be a much longer show. And is that something that you would want to see as a co-host? I'm not currently set up for that right now. We're not even monetized yet. We got to get to 1,000 subscribers before we can be monetized. If the channel can start making any sort of, revenue, I can start reinvesting that back into the channel. I've already kind of put, more money than my wife would probably like to bet in the channel. But, hey, you guys have been good to me so far, so I super appreciate everything. And, hey, thank you guys so much for watching. And we will see you in next week's episode of Handheld Rewind. And also, we've got a new video coming to you on Monday and Wednesday next week. So definitely look forward to those. Subscribe to the channel. Again, if you haven't already, hit that notification bell and you'll be notified when those go live. Or if you become a member, that notification will go live as soon as the video is available to you in early access. So all that said, thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next one.